Growing up, I saw the sin in my family and my church and used it to justify the wickedness in my own heart. So I grew up in O'Fallon, Illinois, as a military brat, landing there from England. I remember pretty quickly I realized that I was different from most people, primarily because of just how I spoke. I spoke proper English, which made me different from everyone. When I look back, what that really began to plant is this desire and longing to be more significant. And that showed itself in many different times throughout my childhood. So all the while growing up, I went to church in East St. Louis, where both my parents were really active. My dad was a deacon. My mom helped lead the youth choir, led Sunday school. And so I had the pattern of going to church in my life, but really nothing more than that. Pretty early on, I remember just seeing things from leaders and other people where Christianity was simply about going to church. It wasn't that your life was impacted by what we talked about. And I saw that in the lying, I saw that in the stealing, I saw that in adultery, that people lived out ways that were different from what the Bible says, but it's okay, because we went to church. And that really, one, caused me to distrust God and really view him as not a necessary element, which really took me down a pretty deep, dark path. Those, I would say, 8 to 9 years was some of the most reckless years of my life. I began to not just party, but really it took me to getting involved with drugs, which then took me to selling drugs. And I quickly realized how fun it was to sell drugs, and I really wasn't looking to slow down. And then one day, it just so happened that I got arrested for selling drugs. For most people, that would be it for them. Like most people, okay, that's their warning, they would stop. For me, nah, it just showed me to really try harder to not get caught in things. The drugs never slowed down. The drinking only got progressively worse. Even steal money from the company that I worked at. I realized real quick that there was no limit to where I would allow myself to go to in the darkness of my heart. As things got worse, and I began to wrestle, what that resulted in is a deep depression. I remember not wanting to live. There were seasons of time where I couldn't bring myself to look at myself in the mirror, because when I saw that person who I become, it was more darker, more evil than I could ever imagine I could be, and I couldn't fathom understanding that. Through this wrestling, I drank more, and drinking and driving became a norm, almost like a game for me. I remember I went home to O'Fallon, Illinois, bought a couple 40 ounces and sat at my house in O'Fallon and drank till I felt like I was nice and toasty, and then I hit the road. Driving home, I hit another car and I received a DUI. I remember sitting in jail that night, waiting for my friends to come get me. That's when the wrestling began to start. And it lasted, I'll say, for that week. And I remember it's like God was giving me these, I would almost say, these holy nightmares where, like, I clearly saw that if I did not change, I would be in the grave. I've buried friends who are my age, who have done no different than me. They are in the grave right now. And so I knew that deep down, if I didn't change, I was going to die. And I remember bending down. And I remember crying out and saying, God, if you are as real as they say you are, and if you are as real as I need you to be, would you do something with this life that I have so ruined? And And in that moment, it's crazy. Like I lived years with a cold stone heart. I caused pain to people. I did things that even to this day, I can't fathom the idea that I did them. So I know what it means to not feel emotion, to feel bitterness and hatred. And in that moment, my heart went from stone to soft. And I felt God near me. And I never turned back. And I think I wish I could say that life has just been easy since then. I think my years of walking out my own wickedness has brought much pain even to this day. It has made life challenging, made marriage challenging, made me more challenging. But no matter what, I wouldn't change a thing. That God has proven to be the best thing in my life. And that me, who was once wicked and caused much pain, can now be a pastor and bring hope.